looks like I got the spacing right, so that's good. Oh, wait a minute. No, I didn't. What's going on here? Yay. Turmeric. Oh, shoot. I see. I know what's going on there. Okay. I gotta turn down this music a little bit. Well, shit. Is it ginger powder? Pepper, turmeric, garlic powder. Actually, it's probably both. Alright, so I need to nix the word powder. Which means I need to go back to this object. Yeah, okay. You know what? Garlic's fine. People will understand. Alright, let's try this again. Yeah, okay, that's better. Alright, so that whole part of this puzzle works. Now... okay. I kind of want... Let's take a look at dialogue really quick. Create... Okay, so... What sounds do I have? Processors, per processors. Okay. Alright, so object codex, BNK welcome, BNK welcome to. Alright, let's do this. Let's go to the codex. Hold on a second. Oh, okay. Sorry, I don't. Probably like look for some software that maybe does like a little pop-up notice every time someone hops on the channel. bet there's something like that out there. Alright, anyway, so let's go to the codex. Okay, so we're gonna add BNK underscore, no, not BNK, MRK underscore market, so market underscore welcome one, which just equals hiya. We're just gonna have it say that. And then no message to MRK underscore welcome one. Okay. The buttons. We don't need buttons on the dialogue for this room, so we need to go to, alright, we can close this now. We need to go to object dialog, and we need to have like probably a boolean for like button mode. So is buttons equals I don't know, is buttons is kind of a weird, has buttons equals true. We're gonna have it be true from the get-go because I want this to be backwards compatible with the room, with the bank room. Oh, hey, it's pig person. Hi, pig person. Yeah, okay, so... Oops. I'll look at that later, I'm sure that's really cool. Okay, let's put that over there. Don't, wait. Yeah, don't, okay, whatever. Anyways, sorry, I got a little distracted. Okay, so... Here, let me illustrate the problem for you guys before I try to solve it. So, we hit play. We got a lot of crap to do. From a programming standpoint, this is going to be a very program-heavy week. So, it's time to go into the trading room, or the market, or... Ah, yeah. Cool. That font size is fine. But yeah, we obviously don't need these buttons. These buttons are relevant to the bank room. In fact, I'm actually kind of afraid to even click on them. I bet if you click on them, the game probably crashes. But let's... Ah, it doesn't crash. This is on the wrong layer. Go. Yeah, okay, and then that crashes. Yeah. Weird. Okay, well, abort. That's fine. So, we don't need those buttons for that. So we're gonna say has buttons equals true, and then there is a. We done talking. Time to make buttons. Okay. So this is perfect. So if has buttons, whoops, make buttons. Still do this, but make buttons. but only if that's true, right? So what we're gonna do is in the creation code, we're gonna delete all that, and we're just gonna say has buttons equals false. So let's just run this and make sure that works like I think it should. I'm pretty sure it will. We'll see. Okay. All right, awesome. And we went to the next, what's it called? State. You know, the state machine kind of kicked us off to, if we're seeing the mouse cursor, it means we're in a building transaction. And hey, look at that, we can even exit. We can change our mind and go into the bank. Oh, god damn. Alright, I wasn't expecting... Alright, there's a rational explanation for this. I think what happened is that I changed this path here because I thought, wow, alright, so I thought that I just learned something new about paths. Okay. Alright, looks great. Oh, hey Mark. Thanks, Big. Yeah, so I just learned something new about paths. The way I created the market room was I just duplicated the bank room that I had so carefully, painstakingly set up, and then changed the duplicate to be the market room. And one of those changes was this particular path here called dialogue. Well, to be more specific, it's actually called PTH_bank dialogue. So I figured, hey, this must be just another instance of PTH_bank dialogue. So the changes I make in this room won't affect the changes I make in the bank room. But I was wrong. So if we zoom in here, I'm betting you that if I turn this on, yeah, sure enough, it comes up short. It's supposed to like go all the way over here. So, that's a bummer. But I think what I can do, let's just turn off all these other paths so I don't accidentally click on the wrong one. Oh, come on, you. There we go. So, we're just gonna put this here. Needs to terminate right there, but go. Oh. Okay, needs to terminate right there, but go out that far. Okay. So now, this one's fixed. But if we go into here, we'll see. Oh, look at this! It's all the way out here. I wonder if I delete. I wonder. I don't. So this is gonna be weird. I don't want to. I guess I could just. I guess I just delete this layer because there's nothing that I can click on here that allows me to delete this path. But I need to delete this path, so I'm gonna delete the layer, unfortunately. create a new path layer. And I'm gonna draw, select path, create new, draw a new path. Also, like, man, this thing is kind of all sorts of frustrating at times. Yeah, thank you for getting small like you're supposed to. Can I turn the snap off? Thanks a lot. Alright. That's really... whatever. Okay, so... Man, what a piece of garbage. Like, you're supposed to... It doesn't even... Pathing is really annoying, you know? Whatevs. But we're gonna call this path. So we should have a new, yeah, in our resource tree. Here we go. All right, let's rename it. PTH underscore MRK underscore dialogue. And now in this room, so I'm gonna lock this layer. Click on this thing. Come on. Oh, whoops. I just need to zoom out. MRK. So, yeah. So now we should be fine. The lesson being that all my dialogue boxes in all my rooms, yeah, it's not done. Nothing is final. All art is placed. But on that topic, I do have a. Oops! No, get off. There we go. There is like an animation that this this grid can cycle through. So I maybe as like an idle animation to do every once in a while. I haven't really decided yet what it's for, but it's there, just sort of waiting to be used. So there's that. Okay, so cool. So that's done. We should probably just test that just to make sure it works okay. Awesome. Yep, and that totally works fine. We're back in here. Okay, so hiya. Might go with a different font. Also, all right. So hold on. We need to tweak this just a little bit, otherwise it's just going to drive me crazy. Oh. Are you kidding me? Like, I have to have a unique... That's so... Oh, because it's locked. Okay. Okay, thank you. Finally. Alright, so this needs to go out just a little bit. Probably like right there, actually. Okay, now we can lock it. Lock it and turn it off. Cool. Alright, so... Also, I mean, like... This, obviously, this sprite is temporary. Whatever. Okay, so the next order of business is we gotta fill another column. Hold on. Okay, so yeah, we filled out this information. That's great. Next, we need to fill out this column of information, the stuff that's available at the port. We already know this is going to be 0 because we haven't bought anything. And we already know this is going to be 0. Yeah, a lot of this stuff's going to be 0. This information we technically know, and we just need to fill it in here. You know what though, before I do that, I think I'm gonna move this thing a little bit, actually. So let's do that. Yeah. Let's just nudge it so that it's, yeah, there we go. And then the path that it follows also needs to be nudged, which is a bit more annoying. Not portrait, left panel. There you are. Yeah, okay. Maybe a little bit lower. Okay. We can lock that now. Turn that off. Okay, let's just run that. I'm sure I lined it up right. Far over enough, bro. Hey, the pro for temporary things. Is that Beaver rubbing his belly? Beaver. I have failed as an artist. I don't. It's an otter, man. You don't see it? It doesn't look like an otter to you? Okay, cool. That's a bit better lined up. Okay, so yeah, so we need to fill in this column of information, and doing that is not exactly straightforward. We have to pull it from an object, and that object in turn gets that information from another object. So we're doing this because we're compartmentalizing pretty much all the information, because there will later on be other players in the game affecting that information, and just, I don't know, stuff like that. So we've got our quantity tables. Let's open up. Yeah, here we go. So we've got this global. It's a global DS grid called the world quantity table, and it holds all the spices all like in the world, each column being like a spot in the world and its spice counts. Then we've got this thing called local market. Oh, and one other thing you need to know is that this object is persistent. It's loaded, well, right now it's loaded at the very start in the boot room, which it shouldn't be. It should actually load when you, oh no, actually, my bad. It's loaded, yeah, it's loaded, well, it's loaded in the boot room, well, created in the boot room, but then it gets its random values when you start a new game. Now, this object called object local market is not persistent. It exists as an abstract idea in the market room. And all it does is say, hey, where am I? And I'm gonna hold an array, which is the on hand, which is to say, how many barrels do you have on hand? Which I guess, where I am, barrels of spice on hand at the port, available to sell, right? That's the point. And then when the room starts, it pulls that quantity. Later on, I'm probably going to change even this, because if other players are playing the game, you might not be privy to the transactions that, in fact, you won't be privy to the transactions that they'll conduct, but their transactions are going to affect the on-hand quantity in this local market. But for now, you know, let's just build it around just being one player, and we'll add all that other stuff later on and figure all that crap. We'll cross that bridge when we get there. So we're going to fill this array with the column of the quantity table that has, you know, full of spices. And then the grid object is responsible for drawing that information, so it needs to pull that information from the local market. Wait, so I guess the question is auto rubbing his nose? Why? Did he just eat a lot? Otters rub their bellies a lot. It's a thing they do. I don't know why they do it. Do you understand the Spanish? No. No, I don't. I realize my last name is Spanish for ribbon. That's about it. Okay. Oops. Alright, so, I'm gonna take some sip of this coffee. Alright, so now it's time for this grid. So, right here, the grid will draw names, and that's what this code here is for, and that's fine. But now it's time to draw the on-hand available to sell in this section of the code that we're going to write. So all of these settings are fine. I'm going to keep them. But this I++. Alright, we're going to do this. We're just going to copy this and put this here. My grid. Okay. Let me think about this. We need to go here. I need to know the X address is, so down, if you look down here, you'll get the X address 114, and the Y address is still, you know, 4 or 5. Oh, actually, so 115 is what I want. And then, all right, so let's go to create. So that's left column. We're gonna do this. Available to sell column. I don't know what else to call it, so we'll just call it that. To sell / on hand column. So on hand x1 equals 115. Oh, well, actually x plus 115. On hand _ x2 which we may or may not need, but we want to have it just in case. So that's going to be, so this is 115. This is 142. 142. And then on hand. Oops, not that. On hand y1 plus y plus 5. That's fine. And on hand. You know, actually, I don't think I really need these other two variables, these y variables. I'll just use these, like, because the row height is the same. So we'll just we'll go with that. That's basically our column. We do need to add this code though to the step. And column, because we need these values to update every frame. Because you know, when it pops up or pops down, that's going to change. Okay, so now that we've done that, I'm gonna delete this and just say draw text extended. Oh, this name is no longer right. All right. Well, here, let's walk through it. Hold on a second. Oh, right, about that. So, while it's true that otters aren't known for their trading expertise, ferrets are known for hoarding, I think. They might trade amongst themselves. The plural form of ferrets, I believe. Like, not plural form, but like the plural name for ferrets is a business of ferrets. I think. Not making that up. Not making that up. It could be weasels, a business of weasels. But, anyways, I want to believe that a otter is a distant relative of a ferret. Hence, otter. Okay. A little distracted there. So, anyways, let's walk through it. So we're starting at 0, and as long as we're lower than the height of the grid, we're going to keep incrementing. In each step, we should set a local variable. So this qty equals, so in this first one, right, I do a thing with my grid. Let me just hold on a second. So we create a map just called my grid. It's 7 and 18, 7 columns, 18 rows. When alarm 0 happens, again, for 18 rows, we're going to fill my grids first. Aha, yes, okay. So we're going to fill my grid's first column with what the world has. And then second, we're going to fill my grid's third column with what the local market has. So this one's for names. Names. On hand quantity. Okay, so we need to pull it from my grid. So let's go back to the draw event and var this quantity is equal to ds grid get my grid to I yeah, okay, and then var this width equals on hand x1, no, x2 minus on hand x1 var this height equals names y2 minus names y1. Alright, so what just happened? So we're going to pull a temporary value, like a temporary variable, from the grid at its second column, where we're at in this loop. So that, in other words, that's going to be a number like, you know, in row 0, that's 35, in row 1, that's 91, blah, blah, blah. Row 2, that's 22, so on, or row 3, that's 22, whatever, so on. But here, we're doing a draw text extended function down here, so we need a width for the, you know, area that we're going to draw in, and a height for the area that we're going to draw in. And then, so we need our first x, which is going to not be names x1. It's going to be on hand x1. We need an I, which is going to be I times this height plus, we can still use names y1. Realize that means this variable is poorly named because I'm using it across 2 different like columns, but oh well. So instead of this name, we're gonna go with this quantity. 0 is a separator, we don't really need to mess with that. And then this width, which is the width of the cell. Okay, so I think this will work. I could be wrong, but we're gonna find out. Hey, look at that. Like a charm. That's beautiful. That's a beautiful thing. Let's change this dude's voice. He's kind of, let's go with something else here other than the same gruff sound effect that we have been using. Where are they? Sounds. So let's do SFX via SAW1. Portraits. creation code. Oh, right. Oh, we just need to do it in here. Wait a minute. No, we don't do it in here at all. I'm sorry, we do it in the dialog box. Not the portrait. That's my bad. Mark it. There you are. Let's kill that boot room. Collapse, please. Boxes. Dialog. Creation code. It's not in here. Alright, so that's fine. Let's go to our dialog box in here. Let's see here. Okay, so chat sound. So I'm fine with that being the default, but let's just change it for here. Go with saw 1. That way, now I think when we play, his voice will sound a little bit different from the shark. Maybe just a little bit different, but different nonetheless. Yeah, there we go. That's way higher, but that's fine. I mean, he's not as intimidating or I don't know, scary as a shark, I guess. Close. Cool. So that's donezo for now. And we filled that. We filled the quantity column successfully. I gotta refill my coffee. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. Alright, let's see. Yeah. Okay. Oh. Well, that's not nice. Okay. Yeah, I'll just put user in timeout. These are some weird choices. Can I just remove? Message deleted. Sure, but like, I guess block. Okay, well, whatever. Yeah, so that's fine. So, alright, here's the thing. Once we have this information here, a lot of this other information can now be filled out. And in fact, these are actually static numbers. We can fill those out much earlier. So let's do that now. Let's go to let's fill out. Let's get another column of information filled out here. So we create a grid, my grid. And for here, we're filling out information in the grid. This information, because this is like static, let me think about this one. Okay. These ranges or whatever, these values should probably exist at the global level because they don't change throughout the course of the game or anything like that. I shouldn't be building them or sticking them in a local scope object. It should be in a global scope object. So we need to actually go back to the world quantity table. That way, you know, if I decide, you know, if I'm playtesting and if I'm balancing these numbers, because these numbers are going to greatly determine how basically your profit margins on each of these spices here and stuff like that. And if I realize, hey, you know what, I need to nerf turmeric and buff cane sugar, I'm going to be probably affecting these numbers here. So amongst other numbers. So we're gonna have these numbers be built in the global scope and then pulled from the global table. But that means that we need a new table. And again, I'm kind of kicking myself for calling this a world quantity because this actually doesn't really have. These are rates, so these are prices. So when you're swimming in rosemary and you've got so much rosemary you don't know what to do with it, the price of that rosemary is $12 a barrel. But when you have no rosemary whatsoever, then the price is $48 a barrel. Sure, quantity has something to do with that, but these are price ranges, they're not quantities themselves. So calling this object world quantity, it's a little disingenuous if I'm going whatever. Alright. Let's do it. So luckily though, we can do it in here. G dot world rates. World rates. World ranges equals ds grid creates, and it's just 2 columns, 18 deep. Let me just double check here and make sure I'm not like width and height, 10 cells high, 10 cells wide. Yeah, okay. Whoa, okay. Yeah, sure, pig. Let's see here. Add moderator. Done. I'm just going to remove that. Okay. And we'll block. I think that's how that works. Huh? Oh well. Guess so. You know, it's bound to happen. Okay, let's go back. But anyways, you're a mod now, pig. Yay. Okay, so DS going to create 2 and 18. Yeah, that's right. So we can fill this right now in the create. Okay, so ranges, quantities. These never change. Well, that's almost can be modified temporarily, but not changed. Because I mean, like, there might be an effect that, like, I haven't really made up my mind. Maybe there's an effect that will change some of the spice ranges or whatever. But anyway, so let's fill this thing out. This is going to be kind of tedious, guys. Sorry, but gotta do it. So, whoops. Column 0 is low. Column 1 is high. Okay, so let's do this. So ds grid set g dot world ranges zero zero. So 0 0 is going to be 12. We're going to label that rosemary low. In fact, we'll just start out with low ranges, and then I'm going to probably just copy this line of code, paste it like 18 times. Oops. I think that's 18. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Okay. So rosemary's at 12. Paprika's at 18. So that's an 18 here, and a 1 there, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, cool. Nothing's on fire over there. 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 16, 17. Okay, so 12, 18. These numbers are going to get only larger as we go on. 19. Well, I lied. 17. Mostly larger though. 24. 26. 29. 38. 40. 51. It's kind of weird. Why did... Oh, right. Double digit. 25. Okay. Yeah, that's the funny thing about salt. It has a really... It's got like a high range, but also a really low range. It's because it trades in large quantities, probably. Or at least that's my hypothesis. 47. 72. 62. 101. It's quite a jump. What spice is that? Oh, sesame, yeah. 85. 110. And 120. Okay, cool. So those are low ranges. I need to write down rosemary, paprika, basil, thyme. Okay. Cumin, cane sugar, pepper, turmeric. Garlic powder, ginger, salt, mustard. Garlic, ginger, salt, mustard, cloves, nutmeg, sesame. It's like cinnamon, yeah, cinnamon, saffron, vanilla, all the sweets. Well, I guess saffron's not really sweet, but no, actually it kind of is, yeah. You can put it in your tea. Okay, cool. So now we got to do the high ranges. So what we're going to do is we're just going to copy this whole block. And we're going to do high ranges. And that means changing this to a 1 everywhere. Whoops, not an exclamation point. It's not a valid. Okay, and then the high range, all right, so we gotta change that. So that's gonna be 48. 72. 76. 85. 96, 130, 74, 190, 200, 204, 225, 235, 360, 372, 606, that's a huge jump. 680, 880, and 960. I promise you, I modeled out these ranges so that while the margins are obviously better the more expensive you go, your opportunities of profit should actually be relatively similar across the board. It all depends on how many barrels you can hold. And there will be fewer barrels of this than of that. So, okay. Cool, that was tedious, but we've got that set now. So we don't have to do it again. So we can close that and go to our local market. We don't actually, the local market doesn't really need to do anything or to pull anything. We can just get it straight from the source, so to speak, in market grid. So again, let's draw another column. So that's, we've got this column down. Now we're going to draw these two columns. So that's column 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, column 5, and column 6. Available to sell. Let's say low range column. We're going to say low range x1 equals, what does low range x1 equal? So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Whoops, let's zoom in here. And again, looking down here, our x is 211 and 238. So, okay. Okay. X plus 211, low range x2 equals x plus 238. Right? Is that what I came to? 238, yeah. Alright. Again, we can still use the y values from names because the row height doesn't really change, or it's not any different. Right now for the high range column, so that's high range x1 equals, and that's going to be this last, no, is it? Yeah, it's going to be the last column here. 243. So let's do x plus 243. High range x2 equals x plus 266. Okay. All right, let's fill the low range column. Oh wait, and we need to put these also in the step. So we're gonna go, let's fill that information here in the grid, and we can do that in here because we set up a grid that is equal to, my grid equals, yeah, 7 and 18. So we have a local grid here in this object. When the room ends, this grid's destroyed. But we have a local grid here in this my grid, or in this market grid object, and it's the same, you know, it's equivalent to this in terms of the rows and columns that it has. So let's fill it in. So column 5. So yeah, in the draw event, no, not in the draw event, in the alarm event, we're not ready to draw yet. So we need to fill it. So ds grid set. My grid. The x is going to be 5, the y is going to be I, and we're going to set it to obj underscore. Actually, no, we don't. Oh, right, we do this. Okay, so ds grid get g dot world ranges. This is the low range, so we're gonna do column 0 and row I, and that, yeah, that's good. That's our low range value. We'll do the same for ds grid set. How are you guys doing over there? Okay, good. ds grid set my grid 6 I, and then again we're gonna pull from the world ranges table. G dot world 1 I high range value. Okay, cool. So we've done that. Now we have numbers in our grids, in our my grid, and now it's time to draw those numbers. So we're gonna copy this block, we're gonna paste it, and we're gonna describe draw low range. We'll start there. Well, draw low range and high range. We're gonna no, we're actually gonna go just one at a time. Draw low range. So we're gonna set up our bars. So instead of this quantity, it's this range, and it's going to be equal to certainly my grid, but it's at column 5 and in the row. And then this width is going to be low range x2 minus low range x1. This height is fine. We can keep that. And then when we draw, we're going to draw at low range x1. I times this height plus names y1 is fine. We don't need to change that. Hold on a second, guys. You okay? She's probably okay. I just as a precautionary measure, put her on her bed. Go on your bed. You stay there for just a few minutes, okay? Got a little dog with a coughing problem, but she also has a history of vomiting, so I had to move her. Okay. Yeah, so we're drawing the low range. That's fine, that's fine. So instead of this quantity, we're going to say this range, we can leave that 0, and this width is also fine. So we're going to do that. Correct. Okay, and now for the high range. For high range, we don't change much. We're just going to change that number. We're going to change these. It's just HI, right? Yeah, okay. We change this. And actually, I think that's it. So okay. Let's give that a shot, I guess, and see if it works. Hey, look at that. And sure enough, yeah, our ranges are what they're supposed to be. So I don't know if I like that they're left aligned, so we should probably change that as well. So it's okay to have them left aligned for the names, but let's go right aligned for the values. FA right for the numeric values. So we can do that. We don't need to do this like multiple times here. And in fact, I might delete these later on, but just in case we do something else in the middle. All right. Oops. I guess we're over here now. That's fine. That's a bummer. We're off alignment. Oh, and we're off alignment because I based my X1. Yeah, okay. I guess that makes sense. Bummer. So I don't know if you guys caught that, but basically I'm placing my X1s at the top left corner, and I just set it the right align, and so it's drawing the digits. Yeah, okay. We might actually be able to fix this just by doing this, I think. So if we just do X2 here, X2 there, and X2 there, and we might be fine. Hold on. Hey, look at that, it's fine. Okay, cool. So that's nice. Let's fill in some more columns. So, alright, let's fill in this column next. It's gonna be all zeros, but it should be all zeros from something that makes sense, instead of just me manually pushing in zeros. And that would be easy. Getting it all zeros though from where it's supposed to be all zeros from, that's the tricky part. So I think we have this thing called obj my barrels. Yeah, here it is. And it too is a that's weird. I must be rosemary, paprika, basil. Rosemary, paprika, basil, thyme. Cumin, cane, sugar, pepper. Cumin, cane, sugar, pepper. Turmeric, garlic powder, salt. Turmeric, garlic powder. Oh, why is there no ginger in here? That's an unfortunate bummer. Okay, well, shoot. Ginger powder's right here. But it's just not used in here. Well, 21. Ginger powder up there. Okay. So I didn't intentionally omit ginger. I accidentally omitted it from the table. So we need to push these up in value. These are spices. These are not over here. Some barrels, max barrels. Can I look at this script? Okay, so all I need to do is change this. Zero, zero, zero. 19. Okay, so, and then update barrels. Oh boy. Right, okay, I see what's going on here. So, do I update all the barrels? Yeah, all of them, which means I just copy and paste this. Okay. That's fine. This will need to change though, because it's not 19, it's 21. Yeah, it's 21 bean. Peru? Yeah, I'm not gonna answer that. Okay, so anyways, we need to change that to 21, I think, right? Oh, okay, yeah, because this is a one column table, or grid rather. Yeah, that's right. I'm using a one column grid because it has that sum function, which is useful. Alright, so so that's that. What we're going to be doing is actually changing, no, we're going to be pulling from these. We pull from these values and we change these values. And is this a persistent? Yeah, so this is a persistent. This is a persistent object. And hold on a second. Okay. Yeah, so we changed these values. The reason why we have a DS grid for these values in the first place is we need to be able to save them later on, like if we're saving our game, you know, when we're auto-saving or whatever. But these are really the values that matter. So we're gonna pull from this. So it's obj my barrels and then the name of the spice, and that's it. So let's fill that grid then. Where we don't need object on. Let's pull over here. Get this closer. Okay, so great, awesome. Let's zoom in. Yeah, market grid. So in the alarm, we don't need to do it in the for loop, but we do need to do it in the alarm. Well, we could do it in the create event, actually. Let's do that. We'll go to the create event and we'll fill it there. So we've created this grid here. Pull boat quantities. This number will change in the market screen, but its starting number, it's appropriate to pull at this juncture in the create event because we're just entering the room and these are the barrels of spices that we got. So we're gonna do a DS grid, a lot of DS grid setting in this session. Yeah, DS grid set my grid. It's gonna be column 1, 0. We have to manually do each one. And then obj underscore my barrels dot rosemary. So basically what we're doing is we're pulling that number right there and we're sticking it in the grid of our market object, market grid object. Yeah. So I'm gonna copy this and paste it. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. And just to make sure, okay. We do have paprika, right? Yep, alright. Paprika, basil, cumin, sugar, pepper, turmeric, garlic powder, ginger powder, salt, mustard seed, cinnamon, saffron. Oh, I'm forgetting about sesame. Nutmeg. Sesame. Cinnamon. Saffron and vanilla. Okay, cool. So, all right. Good. Cool. So we've got our we have our grid full of our quantity numbers that are on our boat. Yeah, and so now we can close this object. We don't need it. Let's draw them. Draw on boat quantities. Oh wait, you know what? We need to do one other thing. We need a. So there's left column. Let's put it right here. So on boat quantities. How did I mock it up in the Illustrator file? We need to pull that as well. Your cargo. Okay. Okay, and then so for that we are gonna call that your we can just call it cargo. I think cargo underscore x1, and that's gonna equal guys, I'll be right back. Hello? Jason, the guy interested in Buster.
Yeah.
I gotta call Crystal, I guess.
What did he say?
Well, he said that he wants to meet Buster, and he's going to meet Buster, like he's going to meet Buster. So, he's got a girlfriend that lives mostly at home and wants a dog. Yeah, I know.
I don't like Craigslist, but do what you gotta do. Like, I'm
Okay.
not gonna.
Okay. I'm just keeping you abreast of the situation.
If I watch something on YouTube, is that gonna mess up your live stream?
I don't know. Go ahead and give it a shot, though. Let me find. Actually, in fact, hold on. I've been streaming for a while. Hey guys, I got some personal business to attend to, so I actually got to stop streaming, but I'll be back a little later. But yeah, thanks for watching though.